everybody, and welcome to Top of Mind with Ann and Rachel without Rachel today, who unfortunately couldn't join us. But we are here to do what we do every week, which is talk about whatever is top of mind for us in the Dynamics 365 and Power Platform space. We're joined by our special guest, Nikhil Paldhikar, and so let's do some quick introductions. My name is Ann Krupke. I am a senior fast track solution architect at Microsoft. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a white woman with brown and purple hair, which is in a bun today. I'm wearing a gray t shirt and a black set of noise canceling headphones, and I'm coming to you from my home office. Nikhil, welcome. Thanks for joining me today. Why don't you go ahead and
Hi,
introduce yourself?
and hi everyone. My name is Nikhil Paldhikar. Really excited to be a part of this top of the mind with Anne and Rachel. We miss you, Rachel. My name is Nikhil Paldhikar. I'm a senior solutions architect with Microsoft FastTrack. I work alongside Anne and Rachel both. I am a brown Indian guy with black hair. My pronouns are he and him. Um, and I am talking from my home office. Really excited to do this with you, Anne.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad we were able to have you. I know you've got a lot of things that you're passionate about. So I've got to
Mhm.
ask you, which we always ask our guests first, is what is top of mind for you today?
Well, since I joined Microsoft, I have been working through this SCM portfolio that we have with Dynamics 365, and then I got involved into the new product, which is Intelligent Order Management. So every week, if you ask me what's top of my mind, unless there is a big escalation, it's always Intelligent Order Management.
So tell me a little bit more about it. I mean, I've seen a little bit, right? It's I think a standalone product in our kind of Dynamics platform, but what
Mhm.
is it? Like, what does it do, and how does somebody know if it's a good fit for them?
Absolutely, yeah. So intelligent order management is basically it's designed to simplify the complex supply chain environment for the organizations and for our customers. So customers who basically operate in business to customer, business to consumer, business to business, or direct to consumer models, they have very high complex supply chains, which basically includes different e-commerce systems, multiple delivery partners, various fulfillment partners who have their own third-party applications. So IAM basically helps integrate these systems and simplifies the overall supply chain channels that a customer has. That's just a very high-level overview of what intelligent order management is. But I have a few slides that we can share and go through,
Yeah, let's
more
do that.
details.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
definitely a super visual person, so whatever
yeah,
you can show me in visual
yeah.
will help kind of help me understand and hopefully help our watchers understand as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I know a number of our audience as well as partners, customers, they are aware of intelligent order management, but I wanted to kind of do a basic deep dive where we go through some of the basic concepts and then also show a use case for intelligent order management. So hopefully that helps everyone.
Cool.
Are you able to see the screen?
Yep, I see a slide that says Dynamics 365 Intelligent Order Management.
Perfect. Let me go to the next. Just give me a minute. I'm having some. All right. Let me know if you see the next slide.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So I wanted to start with what intelligent order management is, and it's a cloud-based solution that basically enables customers, as I mentioned before, to manage the orchestration of orders through fulfillment.
And when we talk about orders in this
Mhm.
case, are we
Yes.
only talking about sales orders? Is just for context?
So to start with, we did start with sales cycles, so mostly sales orders, but recently we have added capabilities for purchase orders and transfer orders as well.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah. It's coming very soon. So I think we have a preview program for that right now, but they will be released in the next wave.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. So then IAM enables organizations to basically orchestrate order flows across different platforms and different third-party applications. And this is not just restricted to Dynamics family, but also external applications as well. Uh, On the back end, basically IOM is designed as a data words application and shares the common data model with other applications in Dynamics family. Uh, Through the dual write, basically IOM is tightly integrated with finance and operations. So you have a very tight integration between IOM and supply chain management application.
So, for example, if
Mhm,
I was an F&O
mhm,
user and I also
mhm,
have an e-commerce website, then
mhm.
IOM would be able to work with both of those products?
Absolutely. And we have a really
Okay.
good use case that I have on the upcoming slides where we'll see how e-commerce, IOM, Dynamics 365 finance and operations, and some other third-party applications work together. So we'll do a deep dive on that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So this next point is very important, and I always make sure that customers are aware of this. So IOM is a system agnostic application, which means that it works seamlessly with Dynamics and non-Dynamics business applications through the provider framework. So we have customers currently who are not Dynamics 365 finance and operation customer. They are mostly SAP Oracle customers who are still using IOM as their order management system. So just a good point to note, IOM works well with Dynamics, but also with non-Dynamics applications.
And I think that's really interesting too when you look at, if you have a company that's
Mhm,
implementing Dynamics 365 finance and operations, and maybe
mhm,
you have 5 legacy ERPs and it's going to
mhm,
take you 4 years to go live for some
mhm,
reason, right? If you
mhm,
wanted, you could install IOM in, I
mhm,
don't know how long it takes, but you could install IOM in the short term, connect it to all of
mhm,
your ERPs, and then
mhm.
kind of transition over as you move into
Yeah,
Dynamics. So you get like the short term benefits from
absolutely.
but then also, ultimately getting onto the ERP. Is that
Correct. And yeah, it's absolutely right. So IOM is built on a low code, no code concept, right? So it's easy to configure, it's easy to implement. What we have seen as a big challenge is IOM's timeline for implementation goes hand in hand with sometimes ERP applications, which is longer. But if you
right?
already have ERP applications, like you said, let's say you have 4 or 5 different applications, you can install and configure and implement IOM in a shorter time span, and you can have it working with all your applications as well as your partner third-party applications like your 3PLs, your warehouses, your warehouse management systems, as well as your delivery management systems.
So exactly how much shorter of a time frame is it to implement IOM? Like what have you seen in terms of if you're not doing it with the ERP, kind of how long does it take?
So I'm not sure if that question can be answered
It always depends,
specifically.
right?
Yes,
Like
exactly. It always
right.
depends, but I would say we can if you have your requirements and if you have the right skill set, you can implement IAM within a couple months or 3 months, as compared to like
Wow.
years where you go with the whole ERP implementation. Absolutely, because IAM does provide you with out-of-box providers, which basically help
Mhm.
you connect with your different applications, or you can create your own provider, a custom provider, if there is no out-of-box provider for your application. So that makes it easier and quicker to integrate IAM with your
So
applications.
do you think that if you were doing a kind of a combination of IOM and F&O, that it would
Mhm.
almost make sense to do IOM first with the legacy systems and then move on to F&O? Like,
You can
is
do
it, or do
that.
you end up throwing away a lot if you do that?
You don't throw away a lot because let's say you have a legacy application, which is your ERP. You will have a provider that connects to that application, and then once you go live with your FNO, you can just switch the provider to finance and operations, uh,
Okay.
either through
So
dual
it's
write
plug
or you
and
can
play,
use
really.
yeah, exactly. It's pretty much plug and play.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Next point, I just wanted to kind of bring this up because recently we released the Microsoft Supply Chain Center, which has more capabilities. And within this product, IOM is going to be a part of this umbrella. Right now, we are selling IOM as a standalone app. But then once the Microsoft Supply Chain Center goes GA, that's when IOM will be sold as a part of Microsoft Supply Chain Center. Just wanted to call
Okay.
that out. Yeah.
And if you're a viewer and you're interested in learning more about Microsoft Supply Chain Center, let us know in the comments or in a chat, and we can get somebody from that team on to talk about it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have
I'll
a
let
whole
you focus
team.
on IOM because I know
Yes,
that's your baby, right?
absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. I'm still learning about MSCC, but we have colleagues who are more close to that. So absolutely, we can invite them. All right, let's move to the next slide. So on this slide, what I wanted to do is kind of talk about some of the components that make intelligent order management application. And to start with, the first is the IOM application itself, which provides an interface to kind of view your orders and the fulfillment state of the orders. So it provides a single place to view orders irrespective of their source. So as I said, you can have multiple sources for the orders or the order channels that can connect to IOM. So irrespective of those sources, you can view all the orders and what is their state when it comes to fulfillment. So that's your first application, which is a big component of the UI, which is a component of your intelligent order management application. Next is basically a number of providers that we have built, which help enable the transfer of orders and fulfillment information between different applications and IOM. So you also have capability to create a custom provider, as I said before. When we'll
Hmm.
take a look at, what is the list of providers that are available out of box on the slide that are coming up. Next is the orchestration flow, which is basically used to configure and manage the journey of an order. So communication with providers will basically create an event that drives an order through this flow. And you can set up business rules within this orchestration flow. So that's another very important component for the intelligent order management application. Uh,
So I can
next,
see it looks
yeah,
kind
sorry,
of
go ahead.
like a power. It looks kind of like a Power Automate flow, the
Yes.
orchestration flows. So
Mhm.
do you have one flow with a bunch of decision trees, or would you potentially have multiple orchestration flows in the same IOM implementation?
You can have multiple orchestration flows within the same IO implementation, and you can have multiple business rules within the same flow. So you can have multiple versions as well as you can have based on the product groups, based on the configurations that you have configured your orchestration flow. You can have multiple orchestration flows for multiple items.
Okay, so it's just again, like kind of like Power Automate, where you can have
Correct.
different triggered conditions for different
Yes.
flows
These
and
flows
then
are
filter them further.
basically, yeah, these flows
Power
are
Automate.
basically developed based on Power Automate. So they are
Okay,
Power
so
Automate
that's good.
flows. Yeah.
There's if you know how Power Automate works, you've got a
Mhm.
jump start into configuring IOM.
Absolutely. As long as you know Dataverse and Power Automate, you're good to start configuring IAM.
Cool.
Yeah. The next one is not a stranger to us. It's the inventory visibility service. So I know a lot of our audience here is finance and operation audience. They are aware of the inventory visibility service. We also leverage the same service within IOM to kind of provide us visibility into your inventory, and that information can be used on your orchestration flows. Uh,
And we did an entire
mhm.
like tech talk series on inventory
Yeah.
visibility. If anybody's curious,
Yes.
I'll paste the link in the chat on LinkedIn about that one.
Thank you. Thanks, Anne. The next one
Yeah.
here is the fulfillment optimization, which is the service that can be leveraged through the orchestration flow. So this service basically provides the optimization decisions about where an order can be fulfilled using concepts such as cost or closest distance. So this basically the fulfillment optimization service will uh, provide directions for your orders in order to be fulfilled from a particular warehouse or the other warehouse, depending on the cost and the closest distance. And then finally, the insights which provide understanding of the order and the fulfillment metrics. So these are pre-built dashboards within IOM that provide visibility to key order data and the fulfillment KPIs. So just overall, these six components make the intelligent order management application. Let's
Cool.
look at the,
Makes sense.
yeah,
Super
yeah,
power platform oriented, right?
absolutely. Yep. So this on the slide, you see the architecture concept for IOM. So the data pipeline that you see on the left is basically ensures the inflow and the outflow of the data with various first and third party applications and the providers, and is responsible for the proper communication of information to various applications that are configured with your intelligent order management application. At the center, what you see is the orchestration engine, which basically facilitates the crucial role of order journey within IOM. It packs in a rich designer, which facilitates fulfillment and inventory flow, and it will control the flow that it supports policies that you configure within the application. And finally, on the right, you see the insights that are available within the product, which leverages Power BI for the intuitive dashboards on the various statistics of order fulfillment journey. So just all in all,
So,
yeah, sorry, go ahead. You have a question?
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, all in all, very similar to FNO, this architecture will show you the application being hosted in Azure, backed by Dataverse and Power Automate and Power BI for analytics.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious in terms of, because IOM has been out for a while now, right? Like, when did it go
Mhm.
GA? How long has
I
it been out?
if I think almost a year and more that it has been GA,
Yeah.
probably 2 years, close to 2 years.
Okay, so can you talk about kind of how it's evolved in the past 2 years? Has the architecture changed? Is there, if somebody maybe took a look at it when it just came out and saw it, and then if they're coming to it now, what would you kind of summarize as the big changes for them?
So the big changes that I would summarize would be the enhancements that we are making. So the basic platform has not changed much. The data was the
Okay.
Power Automate backing it up is the same. But what's changing is we are adding more and more providers that are out of box. So what we do is we work closely with our customers because it's a new product. We have the ability to work closely with the customers. We have identified some customers needing specific providers for
Hmm.
like for example, we recently developed the Amazon provider for a couple of my customers. So we work with the customers, make sure what their requirements are from that Amazon provider, and we have kind of published that. So that's one of the enhancement. So
Okay.
similarly, like on the next slide, I'll show there are a number of providers that we have developed. That's one. The other improvement and enhancement that we have done is creating DOM APIs within IOM. So you can call the DOM engine APIs, the FedEx APIs. So we are basically trying to integrate more and more with some of the providers so we can get some really cool real-time information through IOM that
Hmm.
was not possible before, and you would
So
have to
when you
go through
say
the yeah, go ahead.
when you say DOM, you're referring
Mhm.
to distributed order
Order
management,
management,
in
that's correct.
which
So
is a
that
function in commerce, right? That's in our commerce
commerce,
app.
that's right. That's originally a function in commerce, but we have invested in developing the same DOM function within IOM. And
Okay.
there are APIs that are available. The back end of the DOM engine is very similar to what we have in commerce, but we are getting more investment to enhance that further.
Right, because
For
the beauty of IOM is that it's not
Mhm,
in a specific product, it's its own thing. So
mhm,
you choose what systems you want it to connect to
absolutely
versus having to install commerce just for the
correct.
DOM engine.
Correct. That's it. That's absolutely right. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So next slide, basically, as we talked earlier, these are number of out-of-box providers that we have within IAM today. So as you see on the screen, like you have partners such as Avalara, which you'll have a provider for tax calculation. You have order intake channels such as Orderful, BigCommerce, Amazon, as I said earlier, who have providers that already are available out of box from IOM. For your fulfillment applications such as Dynamics 365, Finance and Operations, SAP, Flexi, these will also have ready-to-use providers. And then finally, we have invested a lot to develop providers for delivery partners such as FedEx, UPS, Arvar. These are already readily available, and some really cool functionality is already available for you to leverage if you use IOM.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah,
Do you have maybe a more concrete example you can walk through of how you might
yeah,
use? these different providers in a example?
Yeah, absolutely. I have an example on the next slide. I just wanted to add one more thing here. These
Sure.
are not just the limited list, right? We are constantly investing in developing more providers, but also because this is Power Platform, Power Automate, and Dataverse based application, you are able to create your custom providers. And we have seen those custom providers being also available on the on the Microsoft basically I forget the name of the what is our uh, channel where we publish all the ISVs. Basically, there you'll be
Oh,
able
app
to kind of
source.
app source exactly. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, you are
Gotcha.
able to kind of access some of the providers that are partners developed on app source. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So as promised, this is a new slide. This will show you basically all the new enhancements that we have kind of developed recently.
Hmm.
It basically illustrates a flow from e-commerce that uses order fulfillment through Dynamics 365 Retail Store using IOM. So as you see on the slide, you have e-commerce and the marketplace web store on the left-hand side, right?
Yep.
IOM is at the center and it is connected to your Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations or a commerce application. And then you also have the IV service. The
Which is inventory
process,
visibility.
yes, the
Yep.
inventory visibility service.
Okay.
The process will start with a call to the DOM API from the e-commerce checkout flow to get the shipping and the fulfillment options, including the cost, the date of delivery options from FedEx. This will be a real-time inventory visibility call or a real-time FedEx API call, right? Next, you will create a sales order by building a custom order intake provider and orchestrate the order through IOM. Then you will fulfill the sales order through Dynamics 365 point of sale or through FNO. You can view the order status through the Intelligent Order Management framework in real time as the retail store processes the order. So there is dual write real time integration between FNO and or commerce and your Intelligent Order Management. So you are able to see the status on a real time
Okay. So
basis.
so if we put this in terms of like the user experience,
Mhm,
if I am a consumer and I go to the e-commerce site for,
mhm.
Joe's coffee materials or something,
Right,
and I
right.
place an order,
Mhm,
this framework would say, hey, that item, you can have it by this date based on the
mhm,
feedback, and then
mhm. It does better.
also this is how much FedEx quoted for shipping, right?
Yes. So
It
so
does
this
better
is
than
even
that?
before you, yeah, basically before even you or place the order, right? Because you
When I'm
have those
thinking about placing
APIs.
the order, it'll
Mhm.
tell me. So like when
Yes,
you're on
yes.
Amazon and it says
Mhm.
if you order in the next 3 hours, you can have it
Exactly.
by tomorrow. Okay.
And
And
at this
then
price, so it also gives
yeah.
you price of if you want this by tomorrow, you'll have to pay this many bucks. Versus if you want this in 3 days, then this is the price. So that price and the delivery date comes from the FedEx API that we have
Okay.
developed within IOM.
Hmm.
That basically will provide the details to the e-commerce UI, and the
Right, because there are
consumer should,
multiple
yeah,
things, right? Like whether or not
e-
it's in stock, and then what shipping
exactly.
method you choose impacts how long
Mhm.
it takes to get to you and how much it costs to get to you. Cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
What
And then
about, so
once
you
you,
said
mhm,
status updates come in. So if I log
mhm,
into, like how I log into Amazon and I can see that my
mhm,
order is being shipped, like is that
yes,
same kind of possibility
absolutely,
through IOM?
100%. So you can, all the API will be leveraged to kind of first give you information about your delivery date and cost. Once you place the order, the status updates can flow to your channel, your UI, basically to show
Hmm.
you where the order is and in what state.
Oh,
So you
very
can
cool.
create this entire flow for your order from the order placement to fulfillment to delivery.
Okay. So
Yeah.
if looking at the F&O side of things,
Hmm.
in the past when I was
Hmm.
working like in F&O and in the AX days, if you
Hmm.
had, for example, like an integration with an e-commerce platform,
Hmm.
and it's just a direct integration that's dropping sales orders in.
Hmm.
There was kind of like an additional validation process you'd have to go through. So
Hmm.
the order came in, we need to check that it's got a delivery date, that all the data
Hmm.
is correct, like all of
Hmm.
the, that the right price is assigned. So
Hmm.
there's kind of, we would end up building an additional job to do kind of order
Hmm.
validation once it gets into the
Hmm.
system. Does
Right.
IOM take away that extra need? Like, does it do that? We got all the information, and any missing information, like what warehouse it's going to ship from or things like that, gets populated by IOM, and you really are just using F&O to then, pick, pack, and ship it?
So that's a very good question. It will bring you to a level where your order validation within FNO is minimal, right? But you
Okay.
need to have some validation somewhere. So what we have seen typically is on the order channels level, you have the basic validation that when you are entering the order, you need to provide certain mandatory fields, right?
Hmm.
And then once you provide them, all the business rules around where is the order coming from, where it has to go, what warehouses are close by, which have inventory, which is the minimal possible time and cost to deliver the order. All those business rules will be within your IOM. So IOM will
Hmm.
tell your FNO what warehouse this order has to be fulfilled from. So that's the biggest advantage. There is also
Which is
other
still
functionality.
huge for the
Yes,
record, right?
huge.
Because like
Yeah.
in F&O, it's
Mhm.
just use a default warehouse or
Yes.
manually assign one. There's no
Exactly.
logic.
Exactly.
Um,
So you're
yeah,
applying more intelligence to make that decision through the system,
yeah,
and you need minimal manual intervention there, right?
yeah,
Plus, you have other functionalities like order split, right? So IOM can as well take rules that you set in order to split your orders into multiple order lines so that you can save money on the shipments, if that makes sense. And there is a huge
yeah,
documentation around that, which I can
yeah.
definitely publish on this. But yeah, those are some of the
That's
really,
really
really cool,
cool.
cool capabilities. Yeah. Sorry, you're saying something?
So what about pricing, like sales pricing? We have
Mhm.
the new pricing engine. Does
Mhm.
that belong in the IOM picture, or is that something that you would connect e-commerce directly to the pricing engine and not put it into IOM?
The pricing management, if you're talking about the pricing management feature, that's within FNO.
Yeah, the new
And from what I
service.
know, the new
Right.
service, from what I know, we are planning to kind of include IOM within that, so that the pricing service can be
Okay.
accessed through IOM and we can leverage some of those insights like we leverage the IB service. But we haven't kind of put it on a roadmap, and we don't have a plan when we are going to release it yet. But yeah, the pricing management
Okay.
service
But
is
but
going
I
to be
mean, in the
used.
meantime, you can still use
Mhm.
an API call from the
Yes,
e-commerce service to call the pricing management directly. So
absolutely.
it it
Yeah,
it still works, but maybe there's an opportunity to
mhm,
like harmonize the whole picture.
exactly. Yeah, it's just
Cool.
gonna be more simplified when
Yeah.
you get that through IOM. Correct.
So we're running short on time, and there's one
Hmm.
question I
Yeah.
do feel kind of like I need to ask. So
Hmm.
if we're talking about people who are live on Dynamics or implementing Dynamics, is there like a
Hmm.
bundle, or how does the pricing work, licensing work when you use
Yeah.
IOM and Dynamics together
Yeah.
or
Sure.
separately?
So yeah. So Dynamics 365 IOM definitely have a separate license, but the licensing on IOM is not user based, it's more of order lines based. So what we do is we sell the licensing based on order lines. So based on the number of order lines that you want to process through IOM, you'll have to incrementally pay more or less.
Okay.
Although in order to try this product, what we have done is one, you can get a trial license. But second, if you have a finance and supply chain management license, mostly supply chain management license, you get the first 1,000 order lines, which is a single one license for IOM free.
Hmm.
So that means if you already have Dynamics 365 supply chain management, you are able to kind of deploy IOM, and you can process the first 1,000 order lines per month through that without any cost, if that
Okay.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And I think I know we're almost at the bottom of the
Yeah.
hour. So
Yeah.
I know that we do have a customer story published of somebody who's live.
Hmm.
So if you could
Hmm.
post that in the comments for our
Absolutely.
viewers to pick up on later, I think that would be another really great way to round it out. But
Yeah, for
thank
sure.
you so much for that background on IOM. Makes a ton
Yeah.
of sense to me. It's really cool to see how far it's come in the past 2 years.
Mhm.
And thanks, Nikhil, for joining me today.
Yeah, this was exciting, and I hope we get
So we're
more.
gonna, yeah,
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, all you.
Go ahead. I was just saying, next time we should definitely do something around MSCC and talk more about the product. It's exciting times.
Yeah,
Thanks for this
let's put
opportunity.
that one on the calendar sometime. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks so
Absolutely.
much, Nikhil, and thanks everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us if you want to get updated when we have new events coming up. Thanks and have a good one.
Thanks, everyone.